And welcome to Dangerous Fly Fishing, episode 86. I'm Chris Cooper. That's Jim Carney. How are you, sir?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
Good. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's about the time frame we've been working with lately, just because of the seasons not being so great.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Personal issues as well,
well, yeah, we have that.
like today.
Also, in studio, Mr. Matt Carney. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
You are alone over there.
I am alone.
It happens.
Yes, it does.
So, Ross has, I think, a family thing going on. I think they're going on a trip. Not 100% sure. Don't want to speak for him, but we believe that's what's happening.
It's that time of year where he and his family go to Pima tuning. So
It's that time of the month.
I said year.
Oh.
Much better, too.
Yeah. So absolutely. So anyway, today on this episode, we're going to talk. I know we've been on like a little bit of a panfish / bass season for our episodes. We're going to talk a little bit more about bass in regards to the largemouth bass, the largest not panfish,
The largest sunfish.
yeah, or whatever. I'd still disagree with that whole logic.
Well, that's what scientists say, so trust the science.
Well, they don't fish, so
Yeah, some of them probably
Some
do.
of them probably.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the marine biologist might, or the ichthyologist.
Nope.
The one trout biologist I know fishes, Tom up at camp.
For
Yeah.
trout, I bet,
Yeah, for trout.
not bass.
But I know he goes to the lake once in a while, so I can't speak for him on that.
That's fair.
But he is a trout biologist. That's his job.
Well, all right. Ross and I actually went a few weeks ago. I think it was the week.
It was the Saturday after the episode.
Yeah. So just shortly after the episode was released, last episode was released.
Oh, all right. Last episode.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Him and I went out on the boat, the pontoon there. We went out to Lake Arthur for the. I think we were out for a good 5-6 hours, give or take.
I think he was out longer than you, he said.
Nope, I was there before him, so that's not possible.
Well, no, I thought you left early and he stayed out longer.
No,
okay.
we took the boat out together, and then found that the trailer of the boat had an issue, which he actually discovered before we put the boat in the water originally. So, found that. So I ended up leaving, yes, before him, but the boat was already out of the water. He just had to
okay.
fix the problem and strap it.
Temporarily fix it. Looks like he's going to have to get his welder out again.
Yeah, he already is aware of what he needs to do for that. So that'll be something to fix. And but anyway,
Well, thanks for telling me, guys.
about what?
The trailer being broke. Because I found out from you when you randomly stopped over the one day.
Oh yeah, I was dropping off your sawhorses.
Yeah, because I'd been thinking about going catfishing, and boy, would that have not been fun having the axle fall off while I was driving. So,
Well, I mean, he did bend it back into position and toe strapped it up, or ratchet strapped it up. So you may have never had an issue and nor even known about it.
well, fair point, but I also could have had an issue. So,
That's also possible.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That trailer is,
Junk.
I don't know if it's junk. I mean, it's a what is it, a Shorelander or something like that? Like it's
been
supposedly
through hell.
supposedly a good trailer. The funny part is we don't even use it that much, but it's somehow like every time we take the boat out, the freaking trailer, like something goes wrong. Either a flat tire, because we've had, I think, 3 flat tires on it.
Wow.
And then like that's the second time and the leaf springs or whatever broke off the trailer.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of disappointing. I mean, it's an older trailer, but you know,
Yeah.
it's still steel. It's not like it's rusting out.
True. But also that trailer's been run into. It's been dragged across a highway.
Yeah.
And
Got drugged
something
across
else.
the highway.
When you had that flat tire and didn't know it, you'd drag the axle across the ground for quite a few miles.
The rim.
So,
Yeah, about 5 miles.
yeah, going 80,
Well, I wasn't going that fast.
75, sorry.
I was only doing 70 because after the first flat tire, I learned that you can't go above 70 with those tires.
Oh, yeah.
So I was only doing 70. I just, diesel truck doesn't care. It just pulled it anyway, and I didn't know.
Fair enough.
So I didn't even, I may have been longer than 5 miles because I didn't hear it until I passed under 79, which
Right.
is exit 19.
Right.
And the only reason I heard it is because I heard a metal grinding noise bouncing off the bridge.
Yep. So, who knows how long it actually was drugged?
I'm actually I'm still baffled that like nobody honked or flashed at me though, because like I was passing people and stuff, and like
you know
sparks
why
had
they
to be
didn't
flying.
You know why they didn't honk at you?
Why?
Because they didn't see it until you were already down the road. because you were passing them.
That's fair. It was on the driver's
Yeah.
side.
So
I still got passed. Like, come on, people, let me know. But
yeah, and that's the side that we're currently having an issue with is the driver's side once again.
yeah.
So
Last time it was the passenger. So
yeah, that's the side that got hit when we were up in New York.
But that's also the time Ross hit a pothole and it sheared off.
Yeah.
And he flattened a tire then.
I don't know if it's the trailer's fault anymore. Now that I'm thinking
to
about
be honest, I think it's Pennsylvania's roads.
Well, that's probably a possibility.
They're abysmal.
Well, yeah, I mean, we definitely shouldn't be paying taxes for the amount of potholes we have.
Yeah. I mean, what is our gas tax going to? Our gas tax is like 79 cents a gallon.
It's ridiculous.
Combined federal and state, I think. It's like, where's all this money going? Because it's clearly not going to the roads where it's supposed to.
Yep. And their reason for all of that would just be, we don't have enough manpower to fix it all.
Well, you know what? I'm on a bit of a Penndot tear this week.
I love it.
Because
I'm here for it.
I got stuck in traffic coming home. So I had to go up to camp for work. I was only up there like 24 hours.
This past week?
This past week.
Okay.
Came home and I was like, I should probably, because I saw backups on my way to camp. And I was like, well, maybe I'll take the alternate route. And then I'm like, wow, it's 4 hours. I kind of want to get home because, I have to work tomorrow. It's not
Sure.
So I'm like, screw it. I'll take the highway. Smooth sailing, no problems. Get to Clearfield. Stuck in traffic at a merge point in Clearfield for an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. For basically them to shut the right lane for 1/4 mile and no construction is going on. And by no construction, I mean no construction. There's zero equipment. The road's not stripped, nothing. They just randomly shut down the right lane.
Like in preparation to do some construction of some sort, I assume?
I maybe, but like I said, it's literally just a 1/4 mile strip that they shut down for no apparent reason
Yeah.
that I could discern and cause an hour and a half backup.
What day of the week?
This was Thursday night.
Yeah, I don't understand why they would start something like that on a Thursday when usually most of them don't work weekends unless it's in dire need to open something back up. But why shut it down to not start that week? Why not wait until Sunday night to shut it down when nobody's really out?
Yeah, and it's the same.
That way they can start early. I think they start like 3, 4 in the morning usually, but
the literal same thing happened. I was down in Pittsburgh last night and I was coming back. And, between 279 and Wexford, it's actually the whole way to Cranberry. But between 279 and Wexford, they shut down the 2 right lanes.
Okay.
For nothing.
Oh, it nothing to do with the new bridge construction.
They're putting the new bridges, and you may be correct in, they're just getting it prepared or whatever. But, why are you shutting down, the one of the 2 main thoroughfares into Pittsburgh for not doing any work?
Yeah.
Especially considering the eastern entrance into Pittsburgh was closed for the past month and a half. You're literally shutting down the 2 main ways to get into Pittsburgh. Can you coordinate a little bit? Because, if you do them one at a time, I can detour around and avoid your colossal construction project. Let's just do it all at the time and choke out Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Well, at least they did it now after, the NFL draft and I don't think we had anything going on with the World Cup here in Pittsburgh.
No, we didn't. But yeah, it was just, they're just setting up construction for no reason. It's and they take forever. That bridge in downtown Newcastle has been out for years at this point.
It has been at least 3 years now.
And it's amazing because it's a 2-lane bridge, 3-lane bridge over the Neshannock Creek, which is maybe 100 feet wide at most.
Yeah.
And that bridge has been closed for 3 years. They've been quote unquote working on it. Meanwhile,
technically it's 4 lanes, that bridge, 2 on each side.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is 4-lane. Either way, but I mean, it's literally you could have a 50-foot long steel I-beam and cross the entire thing. How hard is it to lay the I-beams, put down the decking, pour the concrete, and be done with it? Meanwhile, the contractor that did the 376 bridge, which is 6, literally did that bridge in under a year. Mm-hmm. I mean, they did it really cool because they kept the old one, built the new one next to it, and then literally demoed the old one, then slid the new one into place.
Correct.
But, I mean, they literally did they constructed a much larger bridge.
Yes.
Over a much larger chasm.
Yes. For much more traffic as well.
For much more traffic in a quarter of the time that it has taken the people working in Newcastle on the bridge to not even finish it yet.
Yeah, I actually don't know why that's taking so long. I understand that it needed done. Like, that bridge was in shambles, like falling apart every time we got high water. But to have it down for this many years already, I don't understand what the problem is.
Well,
like, why is it taking this long?
Like, I'm pretty sure you and I and our friends could probably rent a crane and build that frickin' thing in, I would say, 3 months.
I would say 2 years. You know what? It's still less time. It's still less time.
I'm saying, like, literally all it is basically you pour the freaking concrete pilings, set the steel girders on, bolt them down, screw the steel decking to the girders, and pour concrete.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they shut that bridge down, didn't start any demolition for about a year, then started the project after it was torn out after a year of nothingness. And then I think they tore down a building next to it in the same process or whatever because it was collapsing into the water. So they wanted to avoid it disrupting the ecosystem, basically. Tore that down, then started potentially rebuilding the bridge, but that was 2 years ago.
Well, they're like half stopped. Like, they got the girders across, but then they haven't done anything in who knows how long.
I feel like there's something else going on with that because there's no reason that there's no work being done.
Well, I see cars parked there. I assume they're working.
Two people? Like, what are we
that's
talking
what I mean.
about?
Like, I don't know what they're doing. And that's like my point with Penndot is...
I'm going to contact our local representative.
Yeah, amen. But that's like my point with Penndot is like, instead of having 10 million projects going on at once, why don't you do one project 10 million times as fast, then move on to the next one instead of dragging them all out for years?
Well, we should ask the guy that knows construction.
And to boot...
That's you.
Well, I know one of the problems with that theory is that taxpayers want to see progress. They want to see...
I'm a taxpayer.
That's my point.
Well, the problem is you're in Newcastle, but somebody in DuBois wants to see a bridge done up there, and they want it done in the same time as anyone else. It's just in bad shape.
But the thing is, though, is the contractors building the stuff out by DuBois are different contractors than building it here.
Absolutely.
What I'm saying is our contractors here have 10 million projects going on with Penndot.
So that's the problem. Your contractors are spread too thin.
That's my point.
Well, that wasn't the point you were making. You were blaming Penndot. It's not Penndot's fault.
Who gives the contracts?
Penndot.
Right.
But
and part of contracts in construction is you have a legal requirement to fulfill it within certain timelines or there's penalties attached.
Sure.
So what I'm saying is if you have a contractor constantly failing to meet the timelines, it's time to find a new contractor.
How do you know they're failing the timelines?
I actually don't know. That's
literally so. I can only talk about this based on construction, like constructing multi-story buildings. Like in the contract, it will say, by June of 2025, we'll have the first 6 buildings poured, framed, etc.
Well, I'm sure the bridge contracts are the same, but Jim Crawford and I were just talking. They replaced a bridge up in DuBois up there, and his questions were the same as yours.
Yeah,
but there was an environmental study they had to do. Then they had to do a feasibility study for how big the bridge could be. Then there was a lot of things before construction or demolition could even start.
Right, but my point is I'm not talking about the 3-year environmental study beforehand. I am talking about once demolition starts to completion. That is all under contract.
I'm aware of that, but then again, if a contractor's doing 2 or 3 bridges. And he's awarded a contract, we don't know if these bridges are laid or not. So, yes, you could probably blame that on Penndot for allowing the bridge construction to go too long.
I 100% can, because they're the ones that engage the contractors.
So but at the same time, if this bridge needs replaced and they put the bid out and nobody can meet the timeline, then what do? You extend the timeline to get the contract started.
The problem with Penndot is they have a very small pool of contractors that they use. They need to broaden the pool.
Well, you have to have contract. I know in the concrete business, there was only so many ready-mix companies that could supply them because they asked for so much. When we were at New Bedford, it wasn't practical for us to get 6-8 trucks ready for Penndot Because you didn't pay enough money.
So I have a counterpoint to your argument. My counterpoint is this, because I also worked in the concrete industry for quite a few years. They have these things called portable ready mix plants.
Well, I'm not talking about the plants. The truck.
We don't even need any of that. We have how many companies in our area?
Well, CBS and TC.
And TC.
No, but what I'm saying with a portable ready mix plant, companies have those. They'll even lease them to you. They literally can drop them on the construction site, so the truck has to drive 20 feet.
But the truck is the problem.
It's actually not, because the other beautiful thing with the portable ready mix plant is you can actually overload the trucks because they're not driving to the job.
But it's not overloading the truck is the problem. You got to have the so much equipment on that truck. You have to have the concrete has to come out a certain slump. They have to. There's just so many things. It has to have a revolution counter. Wheel weights. It has to have so much stuff.
I'm aware.
But those are big expenses.
But here's what I'm saying.
If I've got 6 trucks and I'm bidding on a bridge, and the contractor says I need 8 trucks available to me, then we're shut out. We can't do it.
Right. Or you could, hire multiple ready mix plants. It is another option. But I mean, like I've been on job sites where they pour 1 million square foot warehouses in like a week.
Oh, yeah.
So they can find the truck to pour 1 million.
Is it a state contract? Because there's a big difference. I poured tons of warehouses in Youngstown, where if any of them had been under a state contract, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
So thank you for proving my point.
Exactly.
It's the state that's the problem.
Well, it's the federal government.
My last complaint with Penndot is apparently there's this new thing where they now every time how like you used to have the guys with the stop and slow signs. Yeah. There's this new thing now where Penndot have those guys, but now also have 2 guys riding back and forth in a quote unquote pilot truck.
Yeah.
Doing what?
They literally drive back and forth that the cars have to follow them.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that out on 80 a lot.
That is the stupidest. No, I'm not talking about like for oversized loads. I'm talking it's literally.
No, I know what you're talking about. I've seen it on 80 though, which is the most stupid thing because that's a super busy highway.
Well, plus like you're boxed into a highway, like you're boxed into a lane. Why do we need a pilot truck?
Yeah.
Let alone 2 guys in the pilot truck.
Yep. It's actually silly, but also the mechanical ones that are just an arm, like a crossing arm. They have that, and it's just on a timer. Okay, sure, but if it's a super busy area, one direction versus the other direction, that's actually inconvenient because the one direction needs more go than the other side because you're leaving that busier area. But anyway.
Well, that's why you need the guys there. But
I agree.
My grievance is I sat on Route 26 by camp for 45 minutes waiting for
a pilot truck
to take us through them grading the edge of the road.
Yeah, and for what reason do we need the pilot truck?
That's what I'm saying. It's one lane. Like you literally can only go one way. The little guy at the side and points over. You go to the right lane. Like
yeah, and you obviously know to go to that lane because the vehicles coming the opposite direction just came from there.
Yeah, or there's stuff in your way in your lane, so clearly
don't do that.
It's just governmental waste because now like you're beating the crap out of a truck because it gets 1 million miles doing the same 1 mile stretch of road 50, 60, 70, 80 times a day.
Yeah.
Plus you're now paying 2 extra guys that have a superfluous job that serves no purpose.
Yeah. Probably just sleeping.
Yeah, but I mean, like literally that 24 hours I went up to camp, I spent, I think, in excess of 4 hours waiting on construction.
Wow. I believe that too. That sucks.
Yeah, it always is like that in the summer.
No, this is literally the worst I've ever experienced it, ever. Yeah. Other than like the only exception to that is when I was coming back from Cincinnati for Angelo's bachelor party, and Ohio had that real bad ice storm where they actually shut down the highway.
Oh yeah,
and I was stuck for I think 4 hours between Cincinnati and Columbus.
You drove from New York, right?
No, Cincinnati straight to. I left like 7 a.m. in the morning, and I didn't get to Angelo's bachelor.
We were in Ohio for that, right?
No, that was Tim's. Oh. Angelo's is we met at Tuscany Square and then went down to Pittsburgh.
Was I there?
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, I left at 7 a.m. from Cincinnati and pulled into
his
Tuscany
bachelor
Square.
party?
Mm-hmm.
No, I definitely wasn't there.
Okay, I thought you were.
No, I thought you were talking about Tim's.
Oh, Tim's was over at
that was in
Kalahari
Ohio.
or whatever.
You had the same issue. You were driving from somewhere.
Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Because there was an explosion at the Orlando airport that closed the airport, so I drove literally all night to make it to Tim's bachelor party.
Yeah, you drove like 15 hours straight or maybe more. Yeah, I remember that because I was actually there.
Yeah, Allstate was not happy with me because I have the little tracking app.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you get dinged if you go over 80, and the entire trip.
I thought you had a rental. No.
I did have a rental. My flight got canceled.
So why did Allstate have anything to do with it?
Because it tracks your movement via your phone.
Mine has a little device.
Allstate uses your phone.
Oh, that's Allstate. I have State Farm.
Yeah, no, Allstate uses your phone.
Yeah. I used to have that.
You lose drive safe points if you drive over 80, and that entire 16-hour trip was red.
Anyway, let's talk about a little bit of fishing before.
Yeah, it is a fishing podcast.
Yeah, because we've been on a tangent about fucking
Penndot.
Penndot is the Pennsylvania Dutch at the same time, just more inconvenient.
Yeah.
If you think about
that's just. Anyway, we're going to talk about largemouth bass fishing. So let's at least get through the equipment and the flies, and then we'll take a break.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's similar to stuff we've already talked about.
Yeah, the
so
tactics
it's really
are going to
not.
be very similar because at the end of the day, they're a predatory fish. But as far as equipment goes, fly rods, most guys use 6 to 8 weight. Obviously, if you're going to be fishing a lot of weeds and lily pads and that type of stuff, you're going to want to bump it up to the heavier rod, heavier leader.
Meaning 8 weights, yeah.
Definitely heavy leader. The other thing with the 8 weight, you can throw like the bigger articulated flies that, you tend to see more towards pike and muskie. I mean, I caught a doozy of a largemouth last year on a double Buford fishing for muskie. So
yeah,
but maybe not quite that big for largemouth bass, but
sure.
Definitely shy towards the bigger rod if you're planning on throwing a lot of game changers, big articulated flies. 6 weight's going to be more for targeting like smaller bass using smaller flies.
Yeah, you just got to be careful with that though. Make sure you're using. In my opinion, I would stick with the heavier leader even if you do a lighter rod like a 6. In my opinion, because it's going to break a thinner leader than it would a rod.
Yeah, your leader basically has to do more with the crap you're pulling it through. Like if you're pulling through weeds, you're gonna need, you throw your little 5X trout leader trying to strip a.
Oh, you can't go that light.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
you're gonna snap off pulling through debris. So
yeah, if anything, just do a 3 at the minimum.
Yeah, 3. So yeah, leaders are going to be 3X to 0X typically for bass. Usually in your 7.5 to 9 inch length. If you're throwing a sinking line, foot 7.5 to 9 foot.
Boy,
I'm still hot about Penndot.
I see that. Yeah.
You're gonna want to use the longer leader. The other big thing with using the heavier leaders with bass flies is the leader tends to be stiffer and has a better chance of turning over the fly and avoiding like the kinks and stuff you get in your leaders sometimes.
And bass generally aren't leader shy like trout are.
Yeah, no, they're possibly a little wire shy.
Yeah,
I agree to that.
But yeah, leader shy, they're generally not.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, use anything above 3 to 0 is not a bad range because they're fairly close. There's just not much difference.
Yeah.
So just go with the heavier one, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, unless you're fishing like in the middle of a crystal clear lake or like the quarry or something like that, where there's nothing, no obstructions or anything you're gonna run into. But as soon as there's structure or anything, like you said, you're gonna want to beef up the leader.
Yep.
Reels, any fly reel, generally just make it match your rod.
Yeah.
Just for balance. You don't need like a huge capacity. I mean, bass do run a little bit, but they're mainly a jump out of the water bulldog type fish.
Yes, they'll thrash a little bit, and then once they're caught, they're caught.
Yeah. So I mean, if you catch them far away, they might put you into your backing if you can throw like the whole fly line, but they're not like a saltwater fish where you need hundreds of yards of backing. So
right.
Yeah, you don't need a high capacity arbor or anything like that. Just your normal. I mean, preferable large arbor just to avoid kinks in your fly line for reasons. But you don't need anything a special reel with like a 35-pound drag or anything like that for them.
I mean, like Ross and I have talked about in the past, we use the behemoth.
Yeah.
In all different sizes, and I have for my 8 weights, I have 3 different reels, spools. Yes, 3 different spools for the one behemoth reel. So it's just holding my lines different, like my different lines, I should say, like my sink, intermediate, and floating. And obviously, I change that out based on what fly I'm using, like some type of popper of some sort when I'm fishing near a lily pad or towards a bank a little bit. I'm putting a floating line on, or depending on the size, I can get away with my intermediate.
Yep.
Just to not have to change it out every so often.
Yeah.
You know, if I just want to flop on a different, heavier, weighted fly, you know, I can get away with that instead of changing out my whole spool.
Yeah. Since you brought up lines, your primary line for fishing for largemouth bass is going to be your floating line, as we're all well aware because we see the 10 million fishing videos because we're all fishermen. Like the majority, especially in the summer, of your bass fishing is going to be topwater.
Yeah.
Even at that, like since they tend to be where there's weeds and lily pads, it tends to be shallower water. So even if you're going to fish subsurface, as long as you're using a fly with some kind of weight, the floating line is going to be just as well. I will say, as far as the floating line go, that's where you're going to start probably wanting to look at, I think it's the Titan lines.
That's what I have actually as the Titan floating line.
They tend to have a heavier shooting head that helps get the fly out there and turn it over better than like a conventional eight like a normal 8-weight line or 6-weight line.
Is that SA?
SA makes Titan. I mean, each brand has their own little variation of the name, but
Correct, yeah. That's just the one I think both of us at least use.
yeah, I mean that's
It's a weight forward line.
It's a weight forward line, but it just it has instead of having like an extended shooting head, it tends to have a shorter, more abrupt shooting head to help turn over the fly and get it out there.
Yeah.
Because that's most of your musky lines are kind of also Titans.
Yep.
Because you need
because you have the sonar and you have the other forward names before the Titan or whatever.
Yeah. So, but yeah, because I think I use Jungle Titan, I think, for bass.
Yeah.
So, but it's basically it's just a heavier front-ended shooting line.
It's just the line of the line.
Yeah. So,
well, they're designed to cast bigger flies too. Those lines are so.
Yeah. Whereas your like for instance, I initially started off fishing for bass with I think a Orvis Pro textured line, and I found it does not turn over the bass bugs as well as my Jungle Titan does.
Right.
But conversely, the Jungle Titan's not as good for steelhead and stuff because you need the slower shooting head to turn trout flies better.
Yeah. I know I'm going to be in the market here shortly for heavier lines for my 12-weight that we're getting from our good buddy Ross, who's not here to talk about it today, which is okay. We don't have an update on that yet. But I'm going to be in the market for new fly line. I think I'm going to stick with the same type of reel that I'm used to with the Behemoth, just upsize, and go from there.
Yeah. But it's going to be the same thing with the musky fishing as you're going to find those heavier shooting heads to help turn it over the big flies. Because at the end of the day, a lot of your bass flies they're not aerodynamic, like musky flies.
No.
You know, they tend to have a little heft to them when they get wet.
Yeah.
So, you're going to need that heavier shooting head to get that fly out.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you, though, about the difference between... I know we've talked about it in the past, but... Are you okay? I did want to ask you about the difference between like a 12-weight line textured and versus non-textured. Like, what's the difference? Like, I know what the difference between a textured and non-textured is, but when you're at that heavy of a line, 12-weight, what actually does the difference make?
It's not as important as it is in trout.
Right. That's
the reason being is because you, like when you're fishing for musky, you don't typically do much mending.
All right.
So like even if you're throwing a popper from, like you're not really mending, you're just straight stripping. So it's not as beneficial for musky as it is for trout.
Okay.
Because it just essentially for trout, it makes mending astronomically easier.
Truth.
Supposedly, I believe the textured line supposedly cast further.
How much are we talking? Is it
probably for a musky line? Probably not worth the
extra. Talking like 3 feet.
Yeah, probably not worth the extra $30 in a musky line.
Yeah.
It's like to me for trout, it's worth it because it makes mending astronomically easier.
Right.
But musky, I don't foresee a need for it. Kind of similar with saltwater.
Okay.
I don't really.
We can talk about it more. I know we're talking about bass today, but I thought about it and I was like, I better ask.
Well, maybe we should dive in depth about lines one of these times.
I mean, we have in the past, just
kinda.
Not the comparable type of conversation we've had
with
fly rods. Yeah.
So, but that's something to bear in mind. And then so I think that pretty much covers the equipment.
Besides like actual tackle, I think that covers most of the.
Yeah, I mean you don't need a jaw spreader like you do with the muskie.
Right.
I mean you probably already have fishing pliers or forceps. So I mean that's going to transfer over to bass because you don't need fishing pliers. It does make life easier, like crimping barbs and stuff on those heavier hooks.
Of course.
But, a net is convenient.
Yep.
I generally recommend it, but in like bass fishing tournaments, apparently you're not allowed to have a net. That's why you kind of...
Yeah, I actually didn't... I've never thought about that, but now that you say it, every tournament that I've ever seen...
You always see them do the lift
They
into
just
the boat.
lift it up out.
Yep.
Yeah, because I believe, at least Bassmasters, you're not allowed to have a net.
Why?
I think it's kind of one of those shady things where it probably avoids the situation of guys just straight up netting fish.
Them. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I want you to look that up in this coming break.
What, about whether you can use a net?
Why you can't use a net, or if that's even
So they don't actually specify that, but I know like fly rods are not allowed in Bassmaster tournaments.
I'd like to know why on that too.
So there was originally a guy called D. Thomas, and he wasn't technically fly fishing, but fly fishing basically got barred because he did something called tool dipping, Tule. Might be Thule, but it doesn't have the H on it.
Sure.
But it basically, he used a 12-foot long rod, and basically it was
dap the fly.
Yes. Well, it dapped the lure or whatever. And the first tournament he ever entered,
he was like jigging.
Kind of, but he could, like, instead of having to cast under stuff, he could just reach under a tree and drop it and
dap it on the water.
Yeah.
You can do that trout fishing too. It's very effective.
Well, so basically his first tournament he entered, which I think was like in the, I don't know, 70s, maybe like early 70s. And basically he was in, I think, like second or third place the first day, and then, or might have been a little lower. And basically he had a bad day the next day. And so, like, nobody cared. So, like, oh, yeah, we don't care. Come to any tournament. Because everybody else was like, oh, he's just out there for meat. It's not the art of fishing. The typical elitist we fishermen tend to, if you're not doing it our way, you're a barbarian.
Right.
And then he ended up, basically, the second day, he caught a couple fish, but they weren't of note, and they wouldn't have got him above first place. So, they just didn't report any fish, I guess. And then, so everybody's like, oh, yeah, we don't care. You can come fish the next tournament. Well, they came to the next tournament. He won the next tournament.
Okay.
And basically after that, their prejudices against his fishing technique were like, well, yeah, see, he's cheating because, look, he won a tournament.
Well, I often wondered why you never saw a fly fisherman, although you can't get the lure out as fast as a spin fisherman.
Yes.
I mean, that is, it's kind of the same with like muskie tournaments. Like when we do muskie tournaments, like, we go like the...
Can't troll with a fly rod.
I think what they call it, Muskie Mania, like the Chapter 64's middle of, like, in June tournament. It's like when you're fishing fly rods against conventional, it's the same thing. Like they can cast it out, rip it back in. So like one of the reasons I always caught more trout than like you or Ross was because I spend more time in the water than you guys do. Because like Ross does a lot of false casting, whereas I'm just spay casting it right back in and fishing.
Yeah. Sure.
And that's where fly fishing usually loses to conventional, because like if you're ripping a bucktail, you can rip that thing. You rip that thing 5 times before I get my one fly back.
Sure. Yeah.
So he ended up winning. So then they changed the rules to shorten the rod length, which basically precluded fly fishing, because I think they capped it at like 7.5 feet. And most fly, bass fishing with a fly rod at 7.5.
Yeah, because usually it's a lower weight at that point. Yeah.
Right. So basically, after that, they kind of just fly rods were out. So then they put in the rules it had to be spin, bait cast, or spin cast.
Yeah.
And then now it's kind of funny because in, I think, 2018, they changed the rules, and now the maximum rod length's 10. Which technically, if they hadn't have specifically listed after they did the length thing, it'd have to be these. So technically, a fly rod could be legal if they basically just didn't outright not list that as acceptable tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So it does outright say fly rod, no.
No, it does not. It says it has to be a casting, spinning, or spin cast rod.
So it does say it.
I can actually...
Without saying it, it says it.
Only one casting, spin casting, or spinning rod, 10-foot maximum length from butt of handle to rod tip and reel may be used at any one time. So it specifically lists what you can use, and fly fishing is not one of them.
You actually looked up that tournament rule from Bassmaster?
Yes.
Oh.
Because I got kind of interested in, because I mean, largemouth bass is the largest sport fish in America.
Yeah.
Like more people fish for it than any other species.
Yeah.
But
True.
that's why I was always kind of curious, like, oh, I wonder if you can enter tournaments fly fishing, because fly fishing seems a great way to
Absolutely.
fish for bass. And
Absolutely.
that's when I got a deep dive into that
So
history.
trolling for bass and Bassmaster's not a...
No.
You can only use one?
You can only use one, and like the rules get real hinky. So like if you cast and you get hung up in a tree, you can literally set that rod down, pick up another one, and keep fishing.
Because that one's not
Because
currently
that one's
being
not
used.
used in the water.
Okay, because I've
What if-
always seen multiple rods on the boat.
That's
I
why,
wondered
because it's same thing we were talking about speed. Like, oh, I want to switch to this
Yeah, they just have the same rod set up, just a different
lure.
lure on it. Like,
Yeah,
say
exactly.
they throw in a frog versus some type of spinny, chattery thing.
Yeah, and they
you know.
just switch rods.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But I
Makes
thought it was
sense.
interesting. If you get your rod hung up in a tree, you can keep fishing with another rod.
What if this is probably something that there's probably some sort of finite, like small rule for somewhere. But what if you are, say, hung up like that in the tree, but your lure
you're
is
in-
stuck?
If you're in the water,
Down.
that is technically fishing.
Well, what if it's just above and it's just dangling there like a little something has the potential to jump out of the water and grab?
Sure.
But you're using a different rod now.
Well, I suppose you would have to reel
Yeah.
in the different rod you're using, put it away, and then resume fishing with the other one.
Yeah, so there's probably something. What if you catch two fish at the same time?
Well, I think, like I said, I think you'd basically have to leave the one that was dangling to the side until you get the one you're actively
Yeah.
fishing back in. But I mean, that's, I
There's
mean,
probably a small text for that, I'm sure.
maybe, but that was the rules that I knew.
If not, there's going to be one now because they definitely listen to us.
Absolutely. But that is basically why,
Bassmaster's our friend.
yeah, that's why you can't use fly rods in, they basically got outlawed by length, and then they got, same thing, more specific, because I think the next step was they shortened the length, and then they said you have to have a reel on the rod, because when he originally was doing it, he didn't even use a reel. It was like cane poling. And then they said you have to have,
Tenkara.
kind of, but then they said, you have to have a reel on it, and then that's the one he won, and basically that's like, yep, never mind.
They just got mad.
Yeah, basically. So,
That's interesting.
but yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we
Quick
will
break.
come back with the flies and the stratagems for catching these fish.
Yeah,
So
sounds
we'll
good.
see you guys in a few.
All right. Welcome back to Dangerous Fly Fishing, episode 86. I'm Chris Cooper. That's Jim Carney. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Matt Carney in studio as well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
A little irritated with my co-host over there because he's complaining about the notes. I put in all the time and effort into.
I was just making a suggestion to
Oh,
help
no,
us.
it sounded more like a complaint.
Ross isn't here.
What, are you expecting him to back you up in this argument?
Yes.
Well, like I said, you make the notes.
Ross backs me up for any argument, even if I'm wrong.
That's because it takes both of you to equate me.
No, I just said even if I'm wrong. And he's even if I'm wrong and he knows I'm wrong, he'll try to make an excuse for the reason I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, he's like he'll say, "Well, what he meant was," or he'll give another example of why I might be right.
Yeah, there's a bell curve. We all fall in different parts. It's fine.
Yep. But anyway, a few weeks ago, we started talking about this fly tying competition, we'll say, between you, Ross,
And
about
we threw it out to the listeners too.
yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
because you've actually gotten response from I think just one.
Yeah, Mike down in technically West Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia, West Virginia, whatever.
No, it's Virginia. It's a matter of he literally lives essentially.
Well, don't tell the people others where he lives.
He lives on the Potomac, and
not
Maryland's
very
across the river from him.
Not very nice. Anyway, we're talking about this tying tournament for the two of you and then whoever wanted to join in with you. The flies were actually due this week. Episode, whatever. Ross isn't here to provide his.
Yeah, so I should win by forfeit.
Well, have you tied any flies?
Not yet. Life got in the way.
So you
Well,
forfeit.
Life
to,
and Jay Stockard got in the way.
you forfeit to also lose.
No, because I showed up. See
Yeah,
my,
but
see
you-
my fly?
Where's the hook? I didn't even have the camera.
It's a hookless fly.
Oh, and how'd you tie that?
Very interestingly, I didn't.
It's a piece of metal.
Yeah. Well,
It's a bottle opener.
What do you think a hook is?
Stop it. So you don't have your flies either, which is okay, I guess, since Ross isn't here.
Jay Stockard sent me the wrong size flies. I obviously already had the 4-aught on hand for muskie tying, but they sent me the wrong trout flies because I ordered a 28 and a 30 because I'm tying a double mini Buford, well, super mini. And I ordered the 28 and the 30, and they sent me, I think, a 24 and a 26. So I had to reorder the hooks.
They probably couldn't read the labels. They're so damn small.
The label's bigger than the number. The size 30 hook, I think, is actually bigger than the printed
hook,
3.
I wouldn't doubt it at all. No.
Yeah, they're pretty tiny.
They're tiny. Yes.
You're not going to be able to see the eye of that thing to even tie onto a...
Well, that's why I have one of them fancy magnifying light thingies. But I did also stop at Neshannock Creek and bought some additional materials since I didn't have any for flies that tiny.
That makes sense.
So,
what size hook is your larger one going to be on?
It's going to be whatever it's either going to be a 6 or a 4-aught.
Okay, and you just told me that the guy we were just talking about, listener Mike.
Yes, he
is going to be tying his on a
16-aught, I believe.
16?
Wow.
1/6.
1/6/0.
I'm going to look forward to seeing that.
Oh, so am I, because he sent me a picture of the hook in his hand.
Yeah.
It's the size.
It's the size of his palm. So
it's probably a little bit bigger than.
It's like a shark hook, and he's going to be tying a trout fly on it.
That'll be interesting.
I'm curious to see if it's going to be a beaded nymph. Well, good luck tying getting a bead big enough to fit on that.
It might be a lead sinker for a bead.
I'm assuming going to do.
Well, you wouldn't need any weight on that.
No, obviously.
I don't know what pattern he's tying.
I'm curious.
So am I, because that's a.
Don't tell us.
Don't tell us, Mike. We want to be surprised, but that is it was a ginormous hook.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
absolutely absurd.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
I'm curious what he's going to tie on, what size hook he's going to use for his.
I think
muskie.
I think he got 24 and 26 because he said that's the smallest his local shop had.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So you're going even smaller with a 30.
Yeah, that's Ross and I are doing 28s in the front and 30 in the back.
Oh, okay. Because it's double Buford.
Yeah, the little stinger.
Oh,
the little stinger hook's going to be the
okay.
size 30, and then the front's going to be the size 28.
I'm curious to have. I want to get you a little ticker, like the counter, and you count how many times you stab yourself with that particular fly.
I mean, it's going to be. I don't know,
because you're not. I mean, I have a hard time believing that you're even going to realize that you stabbed yourself with that fly.
Yeah, probably not. It's going to be like narrower than a hypodermic needle. But I will say I was forewarned because I ordered thread when I did my first order from Jay Stockard, and it looked a little big. I forget what denier it was. It might be 70 denier. But then I went to the Shannon Creek Fly Shop, and they had a thread that was even finer.
Oh wow.
So Chris, the owner in the Shannon Creek Fly Shop, he did warn me. He goes, be careful how hard you tighten this thread down on things. I'm like, oh, why? The thread's going to break. He's like, no, it's so fine it will cut the material.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
And I'm like, this could be a problem. So I'm not sure which of the two threads I'm going to use because I may try starting with the thread I bought in Shannon Creek and find out that, hey, you can't actually put bucktail on this hook because it cuts the bucktail.
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm planning
You're
on
not putting much bucktail on that hook, I'll tell you.
Well, that's gonna be, I think, the hardest thing.
He might go through a lot based on how much he ruins. But
well, that's gonna be the interesting thing to me is because like you tie a musky fly, you basically use the entire length of the bucktail fur. It's like, but you do that on this, it ain't gonna work.
No.
So I think
I've got some short elk hair that might work even better.
I bought up. When I was in Shannon Creek, I bought I think it's like a shorter or finer bucktail. So I'm going to try that.
Facial hair works great for those.
Yeah. Well,
for elk hair caddis, an elk hair facial hair works great.
Oh, the elk's face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not your face.
But, well, that's what I don't know. Like, I may end up diving into the fly shop over there and see if there's
That's the one here.
Yeah, the one here in the house.
Yeah.
And see, is there some rabbit fur maybe I could use, or I don't know. It's going to be fun. I'm going to start tomorrow.
Okay.
No,
I think you should tie a couple, and pick out your best one.
Tie 3 or 4.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
If I'm doing it, I might as well and then present my best one because I guarantee the first one's going to be rough as heck because it's been a while. It's been a while since I've tied, and B, that is well outside of my wheelhouse for what I used to
absolutely.
tie. So
I think after the tying challenge of this whole thing is, and this can apply to Mike as well if he'd like, I think after the tying, it should be, you should have to catch a fish with both.
I mean, well, I don't think the trout nymph one will work, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
You never know.
That 16-aught.
Well,
I think Mike's
Try
out
it
on
up at
that
some
one.
brookie stream up in North Central PA.
In fairness,
Try and catch a trout with it.
Mike doesn't live that far from the Chesapeake.
No, there you go.
So he might be able to wrangle a saltwater fish on his giant insect.
Absolutely, yeah.
That would be really cool.
Well, I thought his giant fly was going to be our showpiece back there. That's what I thought.
Well, but it would just be really cool.
It
if
would be
you
really
could-
cool to say I caught a fish. I mean, like I
Yeah.
could definitely see Ross or I catching a fish with like our mini Buford because it's just a little,
Absolutely.
it's just a
I
little
can-
minnow. Like the trout or even a panfish would
Yeah.
probably eat it.
Yeah.
Look like a worm to them. So.
Yeah.
Probably.
So the ginormous trout flies I think are more for decorative purposes.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to throw it in there.
It would still be cool.
Yeah.
Yep. You had to throw a cable on it. You couldn't throw
yeah.
any monofilament.
Yeah, I think Mike will have to probably use like a steel
Conventional,
cable or
yeah.
something.
Definitely conventional.
Well, I mean, the 12 weight might be able to chuck that. I don't know
don't
how much
think
the
so.
6/0 weighs.
I
but-
don't think so. I'd have to get like a 17 weight.
Well, if he can chuck
Maybe
it with
bigger.
if he can chuck it with his 12 weight, then that is definitely an advertisement
Yeah.
for
Well,
I mean, he
Tom
could-
Shank and Chippewa River
He
Rock.
could go like this with it. You know?
Yeah.
But that's all the more you're getting it.
Yeah, the
you
other
might
load-
be better off throwing it by hand
Well,
and then using your fly rod to
the most
bring it.
dangerous part trying to fly cast that hook is going
Yeah.
to be A,
Casting it.
You better wear a helmet.
hitting yourself
armor.
or hitting your rod because I could totally see it just shear off.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. Yeah, and you're not sending that thing very far, very fast.
Yeah, revising that statement. Don't try and cast that.
Ooh, t-shirt cannon.
There you go. Or
that.
bait cannon.
Yeah, that's the thing. Or drone. Ooh, drone.
It's illegal to fish with drones.
You're not fishing with the drone. You're just dropping the hook.
It's still illegal.
Yep.
Well, do it where
You're
nobody's
a
watching.
gangster, Cooper, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
You're just a gangster.
I've been in a couple gangs.
He went to Union.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if that's a gang sign or not. I just
Don't know.
Probably is.
But yeah, so next episode we will have our produced flies. Since I think I only got my flies I think on Wednesday this
you
week.
mean the hooks.
The hooks, I mean.
Yeah, it was.
You're
buying
you
your
were still
flies?
home. You weren't up in the mountains.
Well, I literally got the hooks and then I had to go up to
Right.
camp for work.
Yep. Yeah.
So I didn't have the opportunity because my hooks didn't arrive in time.
Did you have an opportunity to fish up there?
I did
Over
not.
there. I always say
not.
up there when I'm talking about camp.
I did not because I basically sat around twiddling my thumbs for the entirety of Thursday. And
Working?
Yeah, I was working. I was at an appointment that I had zero involvement with other than just being there for customer service. So I got
Yeah.
paid a lot of money to just sit around and do nothing.
I did that a few weeks ago. I got paid overtime on a Saturday. I ended up working 6 hours. I could have worked 8, but I didn't feel like being there anymore because I was bored. Just to paint lines in the parking lot while nobody was there, but I wasn't the one painting the lines.
Oh,
So I walked around with a leaf blower, blowing the little bit of rocks or gravel that was
out of the way of the painter.
out of the way of the painter, but there was nothing to be in the way of the painter. So I just got paid double and did
Well, you did
a
have
whole
to
lot of
stand in a hot parking lot for a couple hours.
It wasn't hot that day. It was gloomy like today.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah, I won.
You're winning at life.
I won.
Yep. Absolutely.
So back to the fish, though.
Yeah, we covered a few things with the bass. We were talking about largemouth specifically. We talked about the equipment, some lines. We didn't really talk about location, though.
Or did
Or
we talk
flies.
about flies?
Didn't talk about
Oh, we
flies
didn't-
either.
Did we cover flies? I thought
Nope.
we did.
No,
Oh,
not
that
very
was
well.
after.
Yeah,
And then we
so-
just talked about tying tournament competition.
Kind of gonna be pretty repetitive for most things, other than you have your top water and you have your subsurface.
Right, yeah.
Top water, bass fishing's kind of famous for poppers.
Yeah.
So
I do like a big splash.
ideal time to use poppers. Bass love them. You have your plastic poppers, your foam poppers, your deer hair poppers, and then you have your other fun, also topwater flies like Dahlberg divers, gurglers. Also bass, they're big enough now without having to be like a trophy trout. Like a big trout will eat
Sure.
a mouse, but a little one won't. But bass, pretty much every bass can eat a frog, a mouse, or even a duckling. So
I've seen some crazy ducklings tied on the internet. They look like the type of flies that you just set on a shelf, though. You
Yeah,
don't actually
yeah.
fish with, but they're super hyper realistic.
yeah. But yeah, so I mean, largemouth bass, you're kind of getting into a lot of the flies that you're going to start basically just seeing larger version of for muskie.
Yeah.
So like, pretty much anything topwater is going to work. As far as subsurface goes, like I said, basically just a toned down musky fly. Got your bait fish patterns. Like I know Mark at Urban Fly ties. I think it's a mini Buford. I think you have a couple of them.
Mini Buford?
Yeah.
I have Bufords that are sized. I think they are technically called mini Bufords.
Yeah, they're like 4 inches long, maybe. They're
a little bigger than that. But
they have they're smaller than the singles, but
they're also smaller than the ones you would use for a muskie on your 12 weight.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they're basically sized for an 8 weight, which I've used for muskie, but not caught any with.
Yeah. So, but I think those were originally tied with the intention of bass.
I have a bunch of those that I bought in sizes that you told me when I ordered them, but they were too small for muskie.
Well, Big Y labels them as muskie, but they're
not.
they're not really.
I mean, I have caught a muskie off of a Big Y, air quote, muskie fly that was, I don't know,
I'm not
3
saying
inches long.
I'm not saying you couldn't catch one, but they were not hooked sized the way, because like I couldn't get the fast hatch clip on his ones from Big Y.
Yes.
Because the hooks are just too small.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm pretty sure I caught a muskie with the fly I was using was because there was only muskie where I was fishing.
Yeah, that
was it.
Probably true. But subsurface, like I said, bait fish patterns. The other thing bass are kind of well known for is crayfish patterns, highly successful for largemouth bass.
Specifically for me.
Yeah, Cooper does very well on his weird crayfish hybrid ones. So.
I never brought one in to put on the camera. I mean, I know we said the name of it in the past, but I wanted to bring one in just to put on our fly camera.
Trout? You catching trout on those crayfish patterns?
No, bass.
Bass, okay.
Largemouth and smallmouth.
Yeah.
And catfish.
Clousers, originally designed to catch smallmouth bass, but they work just as well on largemouth bass.
Just get a larger size.
No, I mean, literally the same clouser.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, most of mine's been most of the bass I've caught have been on like my 3/0 clousers, because I got them for saltwater, and it was okay. I have these clousers, so I basically just keep rocking them and keep catching bass with them, and catfish for that matter.
You talking like sea trout for those type of
sea trout, redfish? Yeah.
Okay.
Those species. Game changers. The original game changers were kind of like geared down towards trout, but they've, since the popularity, they've kind of broadened. Now you can buy them the whole way up into muskie size.
Mm-hmm.
But
you do.
Which I do. Your nice 4.5, 5.5, 3.5 inch game changers. Those work great for bass. And then you have your muddler minnows, your woolly buggers. And then you get into a lot of articulated flies that have all kinds of fun, crude names.
Crude how?
Like Sex Dungeon. And
ooh.
That's whenever Ross was talking about inventing his own fly, like this is the genre he was looking at inventing.
Oh, yeah. Just name-wise, you mean?
Yeah, name-wise. Because
I have those, I've talked about them in the past, that I like them a lot, those Total Karens.
Yeah.
Not crude name, but that's a fun one.
Yeah, fun, crude. I mean, there's like the meat whistle.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a ton of wildly named flies that, whoever the tire was gets to name their new pattern.
Those two names, where's Kelly Galloop was named those two.
Yeah, but, so those are like the articulated flies you're going to be using. And then another type of fly kind of falls into the clouser realm a little bit. So you can use like jigging flies. The flies you literally just bounce off clousers, you can do it. They have that jigging action as you bring them back. But, there's other flies, kind of like how the bass fishermen do the Senko worms. Just bounce it off the bottom. Like you can use jigging flies for the largemouth bass as well.
Makes sense.
So where do you find largemouth bass?
In the water.
In the water. Good answer.
Thank you.
Also,
not wrong.
Also primarily like lakes and ponds.
Okay.
They're less, I'm not saying that they can't be found in river systems, because the huge one I caught last year, found it in the Allegheny River.
Yep. But
principally, most of the time, largemouth bass are typically targeted in lakes or ponds.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to try some ponds for some bass. I know one right here in particular that I could catch a 5-pound bass every time I went there.
Where?
I'm not telling anyone.
Well, definitely not the quarry.
No, not the quarry.
Wow, no.
But it was a pond here in the Shannick Township that I went to, and
yeah, because
are we thinking of the same pond?
Probably.
Okay.
I want to know.
I haven't been there in years.
I haven't been there in years either, but I'll tell you why I haven't been there in years. some SOB that I told to in confidence brought 3 or 4 guys, and they took limits out week after week after week. And you were back to catching the little ones again. But you could throw a woolly
kind of surprised
bugger.
they kept largemouth bass because most people don't.
Oh, these guys.
Just for the meat, I guess.
They were his buddies from Pittsburgh, and they hunted together too. And I won't tell you that they shot an illegal hen and kept it, but they did in turkey season. But they went to this pond week after week, and everybody took their limits out, and you couldn't catch anything except a 6-inch bass. And it was
I just want to say that's kind of
sucks.
dickish to go to somebody's private pond and keep fish.
Yeah, and keep all the fish.
Well,
I mean, that.
One fish would be dickish enough,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Especially if you're taking out the breeders, the one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they were beautiful bass. And like I said, you couldn't throw a woolly bugger across this pond. It would never make it. You always had a nice bass.
So basically the Cory just with nice sizes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think
Not near as big, but
we'll confirm we're talking about the same pond
Yeah,
after
we
the
are.
show, but I'm pretty sure we are.
but
He said
I
we
just
are.
want to tell people, don't pass on a small pond just because you don't think there's any bass in there. Get permission, fish it, and you might be surprised.
If there's water, there's a fish.
Absolutely. Put there by duck poop.
For whatever reason it was there. But
Yeah.
Duck poop.
Well, who cares how it got there? But
yeah.
All right, fair enough. So
But
bass, largemouth bass, predatory fish. They're going to be kind of hanging out in the same places you generally find like a muskie or a pike. Probably not there at the same time as the muskie and the pike
I would say that
for
makes sense.
obvious reasons. But same thing. You're going to be looking for structure, grass, lily pads, your drop-offs and transitions, that type of stuff. So that's the
Right.
stuff, whatever you're fishing, you want to target. Small local pond. It's probably going to be pretty damn close to universal depth across it. So then you're going to be looking more for your lily pads, rock piles, that type of stuff, or stumps.
Are there largemouth in the Shenango here?
No,
No, just smallmouth.
just smallmouth.
Okay, just some very large smallmouth.
Yes.
if that. Okay,
Yeah, because that's like I haven't smallmouth fished in a long time, and most of the smallmouth
probably last time you and I went kayaking
probably
down,
when
at least down that particular river.
and all I caught was catfish. No, I caught some
no,
nice
you-
smallmouth.
You
but
caught some smalls.
yeah, the last however many smallmouth I've caught have been eating single Buford, so they were pretty big smallmouth.
Yeah, I think I was actually thinking about it when I was driving over here because I crossed the Shenango. We haven't kayaked that in a couple years, and I kind of want to.
I haven't really kayaked it since I bought the raft,
That makes sense.
so
You have that really nice kayak or fishing kayak.
well, I bought that for saltwater. And
Yeah,
I haven't
well.
been saltwater fishing in a few years.
I think we ought to get our boats licensed again and go kayaking down the Shenango just for funsies.
Fair enough. So yeah, like I said, basically looking for the same structure. While we're on that structure, or off of structure now, going to the seasons. Largemouth bass mate in the early spring. Kind of want to try and leave them alone at that point, much like every other fish species when they're mating, except for maybe panfish because there's 10 bajillion of them, and I don't think anything can ruin their mating.
Well, largemouth is a type of sunfish, right?
If that's fair, but
Weird.
yeah. In the spring, water's a little cooler. So you're going to be looking for the bass at the transition points to change depths, obviously around structure. On sunny days, they're going to move up a little shallower. You get into the warmer water. They tend to be very active, much like every other species. They're active before mating, and then they start getting active again after mating to recover from mating.
Yeah.
Summer, kind of, I think when largemouth bass are most famous to be fished is the summer, because I'm pretty sure based on my social medias and everything, it seems like everybody's strictly fishing for largemouth bass for the most part.
As they should be.
As they should be, because the water's too warm to fish for most other species.
Yeah. I actually am a believer that like July and early August, even late August, like now, just don't fish, period. Because it's still unhealthy for bass to be removed from the water. Not as unhealthy as like a muskie or a trout, but it's still not good.
Well, I think it's going to be, body of water dependent.
Like freshwater, you mean? Or not freshwater?
Yeah, obviously fresh. But I think it's going to be body of water dependent. Like, if it's a
Spring-fed.
spring-fed
That's what I
lake
meant.
or something, or you have a bunch of like small little tributaries feeding it, it's going to tend to be cooler than just say a pond.
Sure, that's fair. That's
so
fair.
I think like I said, or if you're fishing the Ohio River or something where you're going to have moving water, a bit more oxygenation. So
yeah, cooler water basically.
Yeah, I think water dependent would be the decision
that's
to fish now.
That's a better.
Yeah, water dependent, but it's. I was reading an article the other day, and I believe it was the Allegheny was 80 degrees.
Well, it was 76 when Pete and I went fishing the one weekend, and we tried switching over to smallmouth, but all our tackle was too large. But the thing of it too is this time of year you're really going to want to focus on fishing like early in the morning, or dark, because when basically you're going to want the water to drop down to A, safe levels, but also B, that's also when the fish are going to be most active and ready to eat. So it kind of works out well that way. So if water dependent, fish early morning, later in the evening, because I mean, like, we historically have fished for largemouth like out at Lake Arthur, but we would go at like dark and then basically fish till like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Like when Ross and I went the other week, it was just there was no action. We saw a ton of fish on sonar, but radar, whatever you want to call it,
sonar.
So the Doppler, as I call it, but no action because it was just too warm.
Too warm.
And there was a ton of people out, like on their sups and kayaks and rafts and whatnot.
So yeah, I mean, this time of year, water dependent, and also go morning, evening.
Yeah, I agree. I said don't fish, but I mean, everybody's going to fish. People are still going to fish. Just be responsible.
Don't fish was a little harsh.
Yeah, I take it back.
So actually, my next notes were basically best time to fish in the summers, mornings and evenings, reasons we discussed. The other thing is if the water is stupid hot, the fish are generally going to tend to go deeper.
Yes.
Because, I'm sure we've all heard of the thermoclines and everything in lakes and stuff. So the deeper water tends to be cooler. So if you go morning, evening, you're going to be more likely to be successful at like the transition points between shallow and deep.
Yeah.
So that's a thing to keep in mind.
Kind of common knowledge there.
Yeah, but you never know. Some people have only fished trout their entire life and may not be familiar with it.
Good point.
So fall, largemouth are probably their most active.
Yeah, I think we tend to go fishing a lot more because, we switch back to trying for muskie.
Yeah.
Because the water's cooled down. But also, I mean, as you had explained a minute ago, I mean, you're catching largemouths on musky flies because that's when they are the most active. So
they're trying to pack it on for winter.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like I said, it was like last year prepping for the Beast, I caught a freaking 20-some-inch largemouth on a double Buford. So he was not. It's one I caught because 2 of them were chasing it at once.
Yeah,
I caught the smaller of the 2.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So
the story, at least.
Yeah, the story. You weren't there yet.
Correct.
But yeah, basically they're most active. Your water begins cooling. Fishing becomes more safe. That being said, as the water begins cooling, they're going to want to find that ideal body temperature. So like they may be shallow, they may be deep, just depending on like how much sun there is, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
The other thing is as the water cools, you're going to want to fish a little slower because fish are cold-blooded. They're not going to have like their metabolism slows down. They're going to want to work less. So you may need, like in the fall, especially if you're going late fall, you're going to want to slow things down a little bit. And it's not like summer or the spring-summer transition or summer-fall transition where you can rip stuff back. It's like you may have to slow down, be a little more methodical to actually get them.
I mean, always try every possible way.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
You're stripping your line or flyback, because you never know how they actually feel until you try everything and you start catching off of one particular style.
For sure. So. I mean, much like every strip you do ever, you should be mixing it up and not just be like an automaton just doing the same strip every cast. Mm-hmm. Winter, probably the least common time for people to fish for largemouth bass.
Not us.
But, we still fly fish for them, but our greatest success in winter has been ice fishing.
Yes.
So if you're catching them ice fishing, they're clearly okay with the super cold water.
Right.
So if you don't have ice, you can still catch largemouth bass in the winter. Primarily going to be subsurface flies, obviously, because there's no bugs hatching or whatever. Frogs and stuff are in hibernation. So you're going to be looking subsurface flies.
Yes, they do.
Like underground.
Under mud in the lakes.
I don't know frogs, so.
Yeah, they're cold-blooded, so they're not.
Well, I know
really
that.
They're not going to be want to hanging out in the cold.
Hey, a quick question here, not to interrupt you, but is bass open in the winter from a regulation standpoint?
Oh, you mean to keep?
Yeah, to keep.
No. Their season, I think, it runs from
June 15th
to somewhere in the fall, I think.
I am always catch and release everything, so I never look at seasons, but if somebody would want to catch a bass in November and keep it, I mean, is that legal?
I don't think so.
It's not legal to keep them, but I mean, I don't know why.
At least not. I don't know why you not in Pennsylvania.
Like I said, when you're like bass, I think is the single most released fish out of every species caught.
Well, I know that.
So it's like, why? This is Catch and Release podcast. I don't care about whether it's in or not because you're putting it back.
Well, no, he raises a good question though, because somebody might.
Yeah, absolutely.
If somebody else that is listening to us is in Pennsylvania and ice fishes or whatever, and they're not in season, and they're not in
fair.
Well, each state has its different regulations, right?
Yeah,
in Pennsylvania, in the winter, I know for sure that bass are out.
Okay. Well, I was just, somebody might catch a 25-inch largemouth and think, "Holy heck, I'm going to keep this fish," and it might be illegal. And we're saying you can fish for
where that gets dicey is I'm not sure how the law applies to state records.
That might be something to research.
If it's not a legal caught fish, it's not eligible for a state record.
I don't know if that counts for out of season or not. I know if you use
it's not a legal fish.
Well, that's fair. I don't know.
I've just brought that up because I'm sure some people like to keep a trout or something like that. Not that I condone it.
Yeah, bass are definitely out in the winter for sure.
All right, I thought they were, but I thought I'd raise the point.
For sure they are. So ice fishing, Cooper and I have had great success.
Great success.
Well, there you go.
That's pretty much most of what we've caught. I think ice fishing has been largemouth bass. Whatever secret spot we go to pretty much has pike and largemouth bass.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I got bit off last year. Lost my favorite lure. Still sad about it because I haven't bought another one. And
I caught a cute little adorable pike.
I think it was the same guy, but
hard to say.
Hard to say because you didn't find my lure.
I did not find your lure in its mouth.
Might have swallowed it or shook it off.
I probably shook it off. Yeah. That was a very brief fight because it was you're like hooked him.
First fish too. I was super mad.
But the fact that we can catch them through the ice means you can catch them not through the ice. Yes. But wintertime, when you're talking ice fishing, you're pretty much just fishing straight up and down, not movement. So that should probably indicate to you that, hey, you probably want to fish them pretty slow in the winter, especially when the water's really cold.
Correct. Yeah, we're literally jigging and not.
There's
no left and right.
Essentially, there's zero chance of you catching something burning a fly across the water in the winter. So bear that in mind if you decide to go winter fishing. That being said, as they typically tend to be deeper.
Shallow in the colder. They can be more shallow in the shallow depths.
They can be in the shallows, but typically they're deeper. They have to get below wherever the thermocline is because,
they're warm.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit.
They want to be warm.
Yeah, they want to be a little bit warmer because I know from using the fish finder that like the water directly beneath the ice is like 32.3 degrees or whatever. They're not going to be hanging out like that shallow. But 8 feet might be enough for them to hang out. 10 feet might be enough to hang out.
Yeah,
because that's where we've.
Yeah.
I mean, in our success in ice, I know this is an ice fishing time of year, but in our success, our place that we normally go is less than 6 feet of water.
It varies, but it's definitely less than 10.
Well, yeah,
but I mean, we also but it's pretty shallow. But it's like you just need enough of a temperature differential between the top and the bottom for them to hang out and live.
Yeah, I mean, I personally just like fishing there because, well, not just because we have good success, but if we fall through, just stand up.
Yeah.
It's honest to God truth.
I think that's what made us more comfortable with ice fishing is we learned the ice while we were fishing water we could stand up in.
Yeah. But now that we both have float suits, we can just go wherever.
We're going deep. That ice looks sketchy. Let's
Lake Erie it is.
So, but that's basically your seasons. And then as far as we can do this one pretty quick. It's like I mentioned, it's pretty much going to be very similar to fishing for the predatory fish that most of us tend to favor, the muskie and the pike.
Yeah.
You're looking for the exact same stuff. You're looking for structure, tree in the water, stumps, large rocks, that type of structure. You also, same thing with muskie and pike. You have your grasses, your lily pads, etc. Target those. Points like on lakes, good place to target. Transition points, especially if there's wind or something, like the bass might be hanging out in the leeward side of the wind while, all the bait fish are being blown across the lake on the windward side, of a point, and might literally just be sitting there popping out and snatching them as they want them.
Yep.
So, I think that pretty much covers everything I had for, largemouth bass.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this time of the year, we're getting into the last couple weeks of August, so we definitely will be getting back into the fall seasons here very shortly, within the next month, if that.
Yeah, I know for sure I want to take Nick out for muskie once before the beast, because I don't think he's fly fished in 2 years.
I believe that, unless he's gone on his own.
I don't think he has.
Yeah,
because I think he only owns at this point 2 muskie flies, because his favorite one got bit off the last year he did the beast. So I think he was just checking with me like, hey, what fly should I order?
Yeah.
So I gave him some recommendations. So yeah, I definitely need to get him out before he's expected to cast for 2 days straight for muskie, not having fly fished in.
Good point.
2 years, I think.
So we'll definitely be starting to get into the heavier fishing seasons for us again, and for everybody else that wants to fish with muskie and or largemouth.
Or trout. Trout will be back.
You can come back with trout. Yep.
My favorite time of year to fish is in the fall. Even though there's a lot of hatches in the spring,
right?
I always enjoyed the fall because, again, you got big fish moving, and I fish a lot of bigger streams in the fall because there's bigger fish.
So what are you fishing with for trout?
It's when I really break out my streamers a lot of the time.
Okay.
Wow.
Because the big fish are looking for something bigger to eat.
Or wet flies, I would say.
You also have, so this year, because, I usually go up and pre-fish the whole week before the beast.
Uh-huh.
This year, I think I'm going to be taking up my 8 weight. And because last year at the beast, we had a huge October caddis hatch.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So, and even at camp, I've been there for the October caddis hatch and done very well behind camp. Yeah. So, October caddis is a good one for fishing for anything that eats bugs.
Wonder why they call it October caddis.
Yeah, they generally seem to hatch around October.
Yeah.
But
don't forget about trout. This is a nice time of year to fish for trout. The temperatures are cooler. Once the leaves have fallen and have washed away, that's a month that I enjoy trout fishing very much.
The fall is a rough time to fish the Allegheny River, like around the time of the beast, because there's a lot of leaves in the water.
Yep, you gotta,
and all the grasses start dying and letting go.
Uh-huh.
So fall's a great time to fish, but it does have its own little hazards.
Absolutely. Well, even on the trout streams, you got to let the leaves flow downstream.
Yeah.
Unless you fish a stream with pine forest.
Yeah. So, but fall, pretty much a great time to get back out and start hitting fishing heavy again. So,
absolutely.
We look forward to seeing you guys all out on the stream or the lake or wherever the heck we run into you guys. On the water.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I think that's pretty much it for us today.
Oh, you did look up the Bassmaster no net thing.
I didn't find the rationale behind it, but it has been in effect per the internet a few years.
Yeah.
So,
but just to reiterate what Jim had brought up about time of the year, what's in season to keep. If you do keep, make sure you look into that before you start.
Check your regulations.
Yeah, seriously.
We don't want to invite anybody to break the law.
Right.
Well, don't be the guy. I think Ross and I were fishing, and dude caught a pike.
That was me.
Oh, it was you.
Yeah, we were ice fishing.
No, I was on the foreign creek around here, named creek, and the guy caught a pike. Drug it onto shore, left it on the shore, went up to check it to his truck to get his regulations to see if he could keep it, to see if walleye was in. And I'm kind of like, man.
Pike, you mean?
No, he thought it was a walleye.
Oh.
Yeah, that's happened.
And I was like, hey, dude, I'm like, can I go take a look at your fish? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Why are you going to truck? Oh, I got to go see if walleye. And I'm looking at him like, dude, that's not a walleye anyway.
Yeah.
So know your fish and know your regulations.
Yeah.
Was he? I'm assuming he was spin cast.
Yeah, he was spin fishing. And he was there with his kids, so he may have just been there, like not much of a fisherman, but there with his kids.
Okay.
But where he caught it was that nice pike hole you and I tried fishing when our eyelets kept freezing.
Oh, they have walleye over there?
Yeah, that whole big deep stretch across from the boat launch apparently is chock full of walleye. That's why all those shore fishermen, like when we've launched and retrieved there, that's why all the shore fishermen are there. Is they're casting out into the middle of the creek to fish for walleye, and he just happened to snag a pike on his way back.
I will have to confer with you on what stretch or area you're talking about.
Okay. So, hey, we appreciate you guys listening. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at Dangerous Fly Fishing. Search for us on YouTube at Dangerous Fly
If
Fishing.
you want to see our beautiful faces.
Yeah. Shoot us an email, dangerousflyfishing@gmail.com. If you guys want to join in on the fly tying competition, either post it to Instagram and tag us or shoot us an email and we'll get your entry up for you. So,
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, as always, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. We will be back with episode 87 next week, potentially, if not 2 weeks from now, like we have been. Anything, Jim?
No, just appreciate everyone who listens. And we'd like to get you guys involved. I mean, I'd like to see some flies and things like that. I've been a long time fly tyer, but
Sorry, that was me.
Just pushing buttons.
I didn't think I said anything bad, but
I haven't quacked in a while. So.
but we just appreciate you guys. We really do. And we just shoot the breeze and talk about fishing, try to distribute some information, just very low key. And we appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, as always, good luck. Don't suck. Stay dangerous.